Hello guys, welcome to the UI Dev channel. My name is Gabor, I am a user interface designer, and in this channel I am making Figma tutorials. In this video I want to show you how to create this isometric 3D effect that you can use as a Behance thumbnail or anywhere, or you can use it on Dribble. I think it's a really cool effect. And with some really simple steps we can achieve that. So let's just dive in. We have this layout here that I designed earlier. It's on the channel already, so if you want to check it out, go to my channel and watch this video. So what we need to make this isometric effect, first we need a plugin called Scudat, and we need some shapes, and we are going to tweak some elements a bit, but it's really easy and it's really fun. We can create really nice effects with this plugin. So first of all, I just need a rectangle the same size as this one, so it's 390 and 844, and I'm simply just going to drag it inside and put it back and align them to the middle. And the color is actually this background color that we are using. So we are just selecting the frame and open this plugin Scudat, and basically with these sliders you can transform any kind of elements to this isometric view. What I use usually is -45 and -20. And I'm going to apply to it. And for the frame, I want to add the corner radius, corner radius, which is 32. And the reason we needed that extra shape in the beginning, because I am going to create the depth for the bottom of this layer. So I'm just going to drag it out of the frame. So if you see, here's the bottom layer, and I'm going to simply just move it down a bit, like 10 pixels, and it needs corner radius as well, which is 32. I think it can be smaller, like 24 or 28. And what I need to do is right click on this layer and flatten it. So now I can edit these points, these pass points, and I'm just going to simply drag this point, select this point, and just pull it up here. And I'm going to do the same in the bottom right corner as well. So selecting the point and simply just drag it up here. And what I want to do is for this rectangle or this element shape layer, I want to add linear gradient. Let's make it to 100%. And maybe add some lighter color to it. Actually, I'm going to grab one of these. Okay, that's fine for me. And even if this layer, this whole frame transformed, we still have the layers individually, so we can edit them, actually even edit the text, or we can edit the backgrounds of these cards, because I want to add some depth as well, move it up a bit, and repeat the same effect that we just did on the bottom layer. So what I'm going to do is select this background rectangle, and I'm just going to duplicate it and pushing down 8 pixels. So I'm going to change the color so you can see it. Just drag it behind. And flatten it again and edit those corners. Now I'm going to drag these ones as well. Okay, that's fine. And I am going to duplicate the base background again, because I want to subtract this one from this one. So if we want to change the opacity or add the background blur, which is that we are going to do. So just grabbing this layer, duplicate it, and grab both of them, and I'm going to subtract it. So now we have this subtraction, and if I'm dragging out, you see there is no background, so that's not going to affect the background, only the edges. So this is what I wanted. And I want to add some effects for this one as well. I'm adding a linear gradient, and this time I am picking the color from here, but I'm going to make it darker. Yes, exactly. And now I am grabbing the background, and I want to decrease the fill or the opacity of this, and I want to add another drop shadow. I want to add a background blur, which is 32 or 24, it depends on your taste. And I just want to grab this and put it inside this group, so we have everything together. Let's say this is the nest, and I want to put it up here, and because now the devices is overlapping it, I'm going to grab the nest group and just put it on top. Just going to check. You can move it a bit more. And the reason I added this background blur, because now it's picking up this white background color. So maybe I am decreasing a bit more the fill so it's more visible. Say 60. And basically we are going to do the same here. And I want to drag, this is the home pod, let's just rename it. and I want to drag this out of the frame because I want here to overlap a bit. Just moving up a bit somewhere here, and we are going to repeat the process that I did here. So grabbing the background rectangle, duplicate it, move it down 8 pixel, flatten it so we can edit the corners. Move these ones up as well, and the bottom right as well, somewhere here. Okay, that's good. And duplicate the base layer again, move it up, and subtract from each other, and add a linear gradient again. And for now I'm going to pick this color and let's see how it goes. Okay, it's actually not that bad. Maybe this one I'm going to darken it a bit. And again for the base layer, which is this one, I'm going to use a background blur 32, and it doesn't have an effect now because the fill is on 100%. We need to lower that. And now it's picking up the color from this plus icon. And actually what we can do here is add a drop shadow for this whole HomePod group. It's just going to create more depth. So drop shadow 20, let's say this is 50, and the Y is 24, maybe 32. I'm going to repeat the same here. Drop shadow 20, 24, and 50. Let's just check quickly. 20, 32, 20, 32, and 50. 20, 32, and 50. Okay, that looks good. I'm just going to check back the reference. Okay. And just repeating the same thing for these ones. I'm going to detach this instance for now and make it a group. So I just duplicate the background, move it down by 8 pixels, flatten it to edit the corners. And duplicate the base layer so we can subtract it from the from the below one, and I believe I used a bit of a pinkish color here. So I'm adding a linear gradient, grabbing these colors and make this one darker. Maybe darken this one a bit as well. And move these two out of the frame so it can overlap again. And adding the same drop shadow 20, 30 to 50. 20, 32 and 50. And repeat the process for this one as well. And we have this weather widget that is going to move out of the frame to the left, and these ones to the right. I'm just repeating the process over and over again. And for this one, I believe we can use the same. So I'm just going to copy the properties from this one. But first of all, let's subtract it. And now we can paste the properties and add the drop shadow as well, which was 32, 20, 32, 50, 20, 32 and 50. Maybe I'm going to lower the opacity more here and drag this out of the frame more. Let's lower the opacity on this one to 40 or even 30. Okay, now the last one is the weather widget. I'm just dragging out of the frame so we can move it. So the same thing, just duplicate it, push it down by 8 pixels, flatten it, edit the corners, move up this one as well, and this one. And duplicate the base layer, grabbing and subtract. And I used a bit of a lighter color here on this one, but it's a linear gradient as well. Let's make it 100%. Okay, that's great. Let's grab the background and add the background blur. 24, and the opacity is 40. Okay, that looks quite good. And grabbing the whole weather widget and adding the drop shadow, which is 20, 32, and 50. And we can play around a bit more. Oops. Make sure all of your elements set to top and left in the constraints. And I'm just going to resize this artboard. Give the background this color and add some ellipses with the pink color, add an effect, layer blur 240, set to the back. We can even increase it a bit more, 360, and duplicate it and make it blue. And I want to add drop shadow as well to the whole screen. And to do that, I'm just going to draw a simple shape that following this rectangle on the screen, and I want to add the fill black, removing the stroke, send this whole layer to the back, move it down a bit, and I'm just going to add layer blur again. And just going to decrease the opacity with 60, 80%. And that's it. We have this really nice effect with some really simple steps. You can make this and add this to your portfolio or to your presentation, to your client. I think it's really nice and adds some extra to any kind of presentations or portfolio. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And I'm going to see you in the next video.